It's recording. Okay. Welcome to our Thursday evening class. It's good to see all of you. I hope some more join with us before it's over with. I'm going to be very brief because Dr. Lamb has several things that he would like to go over tonight that's very, very important. But since we had a glitch on my end on Tuesday night, I just wanted to as a reminder, just show you where I was in case you were not able to follow along. I think you're able to follow along. I've talked with several students. I had some site visits today, and they said that there was no problem with it. But Dr. Lamb, I was actually the APSL template and materials. Just a reminder, going up. This is where I was speaking from, and I actually had opened up the APSL final evidence narrative template, and my conversation was coming directly from that for task 1 and as I introduced task 2. So that's where you would go, and that's what you need to be using as you are completing your work that will be submitted for review and discussion board on this Sunday. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Several have, and it didn't take me but a minute to clear up any question that you had in your mind. So just know that this is where I was speaking from when I was speaking to you on Tuesday night. If you'll go back, Dr. Lamb, go back to the column on the side. We'll come out of this. Come on down, and remember that in there's other materials that you can use as you are doing your research and as you are setting the norms. We put some information in there on how to establish your norms for your meetings, etc. Come on down to the APA, materials. Okay, there it is, APA format and materials. Dr. Hamilton did a great job reviewing that. Click on the bottom one. We did not get a chance to open that up. Dr. Hamilton, this is just where she went in and she basically pulled together lots of things from what we have. So it's just a quick reference list as you are writing your work, things that you need to be reminded of as you're adhering to the APA requirements. So just know that that she has done that for you, and Dr. Hamilton, thank you for that information. Dr. Hamilton, did you have anything else you needed to say about that?
I don't think so. I think it's all right there. If they'll just click on it and use it, and especially that citation chart in that middle column is just a great resource.
Right. So just please remember that. Okay, Dr. Lamb, if you'll go back out again. Okay. Okay, come on down.
Let me mute.
Just
All right. Let me unmute you. Hold 1 second.
Okay, just a reminder, your work is due by 9 o'clock Sunday night, but you don't have to wait until Sunday night. In fact, if you have completed your work and you're comfortable that it's ready to be submitted, I highly encourage you to go ahead and you can submit it any time during the week that you're ready for it. You do not have to wait until Sunday night. In fact, I would love to get work before then, and Dr. Crawford would too, so that we're not getting it all at one time. So if you have work that is completed and is ready to go somewhere, go ahead and put it in there. Now, the first thing that you're going to do, go down to APSL task for review. This is where your assignment will go this week. Again, just a reminder, it's APSL task 1. You'll click on that. You'll create a thread. And this is where you will insert your work.
Browse my computer,
Right.
find your document.
And again, this is an opportunity. I will give feedback to my students. Dr. Crawford will give feedback to the students that have been assigned to his 2 groups. And then you have the option, if you need to, Dr. Crawford's students can put them in my internship shell, and I can look at things as well if you need me to look at it. And then at this point, my students that are in my 2 groups can put it in Dr. Lamb's internship shell, which will later be Dr. Shepard and Dr. Hamilton when he can get that worked out. But if there's a need for it, you know, you can do that. So just be reminded of that as well. And then come on down one more time, Dr. Lamb, on the left-hand side. Okay. I want to go ahead and tell you, next week, the work that we're reviewing this week, next week will be turned in to me as a completed document, and you will go to the APSL assignment Dropbox. And then you will put your completed APSL 1, you will click up there and you will submit it up there, and it will only go to me or it will only go to Dr. Crawford for a final evaluation. Now, the work that is submitted by Sunday night in the discussion board, that's the same work that your peers in your Zoom groups, your peers, you will pick 2 of your the people in your team, you'll pick 2 of their works that's submitted in the discussion board, and you will take it and you will look at task 1 and you will complete a peer review on 2 of your colleagues in your Zoom group's work. That is not due this week though, but it's going to be submitted Sunday night. You need to go ahead and take care of that following Sunday night submission, because the feedback from that, they're going to need that from you, and you're going to need it from them as you are making whatever adjustments and changes that you need. Now, if you wait until the end of the week, it's not going to do them any good, and it's not going to do you any good. So it's important that you go ahead and you take care of that early in the week. Now, once that is done, you will send them a copy of your completed work so that they can use it for their review, but you're also going to submit it at the end of the week to your instructor, because we will grade you on completing 2 of the peer reviews as an assignment at the end of that week. Again, the peer reviews are not due this week, only the discussion board. That's all you've got to do. Dr. Lamb, that's pretty much it.
All right, let me catch up on the chat here. Will you upload the video evidence there as well? You'll put that in the Dropbox. All right, so let me talk to you just a minute about the technology here. All right, so when you have your task 1 completed, you come here and you upload it here. You create a thread and you upload it here. It'll allow you to upload it, and you title it and you upload it here and you submit it. Okay, and this will kick out an error because I don't have anything to submit and I'm not in Dr. Crawford's class. All right, then once you have uploaded yours, you go back to the same place, click on that task 1, and it will give you a list of who has submitted. Again, you pick the 2 people. When you click on their name, it will allow you to access you can download their document, just like a file from your computer. There's their file right there. You download it, you evaluate it using the peer review rubric, and then you come back here to the same place. When you hit reply, it will let you upload your review back to them. And when you upload your review back to them, they then have feedback on their work. When you do that and submit it, again, it'll give me an error, but that's okay. When you do that, immediately come to AppSell completed peer review Dropbox and drop it in the Dropbox for your grade at the same time. So you give it back to the person so that will inform their revisions, and you upload it back to them, and then you upload it in the Dropbox to get your grade for having done their review.
And if you're in my class, I'm going to grade you in my 2 groups. I'm going to grade you on this. And if you're in Dr. Crawford's 2 groups, he's going to grade you on that.
And you upload your videos here as well. You can upload multiple times in these boxes. Let me say that again. We've got 2 different boxes here. You can upload multiple times in each of these boxes. I've made them unlimited. And then you can put videos here. So please make sure that you understand that. Now, when I say you can put videos here, that's a misnomer. You can't put videos there. You put the link to the video in YouTube there. I don't think Blackboard will let you upload large files of videos. We'd have to use Kaltura, and we'd have to have a data allotment to do that. We don't have that. So when we say upload a video, what we really mean is you film the video, process it, upload it to YouTube, process it there, get the link, and you post the link. So you don't actually put the MP3 or MP4 there. You put the link to YouTube, and that's how we go back and forth. Makes it a much more efficient system, a lot faster, a lot easier than trying to upload and download videos. So it's just the link that you're looking for. And so everybody knows how to do that. Let me cover that quickly. When you click into your YouTube account,
Anna, you're fine.
You should create your own YouTube account. You'll need a Gmail and create your own account. And then when you have that, and you'll know that you're on your account, see mine, there's my initial right there. You simply come to the upload button, and it will let you make sure that you're on the public setting. That's very important. Make sure you're on the public setting when you upload your work. And when you click on that, it will find the file. You click on that MP4, that file, and upload it, and it will generate a YouTube link so that when we click on that link, it'll take us to that video. But you got to be on that. You got to set your setting to public in order to do that. This is usually a problem early in the season. People forget to do that. Please make sure. So if you do a video, when you do your video peer reviews, don't try to upload the video itself, the MP4, into Blackboard. Upload it into YouTube. Create your channel, upload into YouTube, and then upload the link, the YouTube link, and you'll be better off. And that's how we do this.
Okay, Dr. Lamb, Carla, I see your private message. I will communicate with Dr. Lamb about that after our meeting tonight.
Okay. So that's the process. You go to discussion board, you take their work down, you evaluate it using the peer review rubric. You post that back for them. You post it for us, for your instructor, Dr. Crawford or Dr. Stedman, to give you a grade on that. Now, they're going to read those things. And so let's look at that. This picks up where I wanted to pick up tonight to talk about. I want to talk about peer review. So let me get to that. Now, here's the template itself. The materials are there that explain. This is what you download to type directly into. Enable the editing, and this will allow you to type right in it. Now, one of the things that I really get kind of perturbed about is when people do, I'll use the old timers reference here, when people do the American Bandstand rating here. Those of you who aren't old enough to remember American Bandstand came on every Saturday. Dick Clark was the host, and they would review songs. And they'd say, well, I give it an 80 because it was easy to dance to. I don't want to see peer reviews that basically say, that's good or good job. Read their work and give them feedback. If it's good, say it's good, but say why it's good.
Exactly.
Say why it's good or what it needs to be worked on. See, this will help you more than anything else that we can do for you to teach you what to do and what you're looking for. You're not going to be providing instruction as a principal or assistant principal. You're going to be supervising instruction and giving feedback. This may be one of the most important things that we teach you or you teach yourself to do. You've got to learn to give feedback. They don't pay you to teach people when you're a principal. They pay you to supervise and give people feedback that do teach children in your building. And so this is a critical component. There's a reason why we do this. People say, well, y'all just lazy. Y'all don't want to have to read that stuff. No, we read it all. Your instructors will, when you post for review, your instructor will give you a review as well. And if your work is not at least proficient, it will come to my shelf and I'll read it and give you, and I will give you a how-to to fix it. Now, if you have minor revisions, your instructor will give you those. But if you're way off in left field, they'll send you to me, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to fix it. And so I'm the person that gets the ox out of the ditch. Now, we'll go biblical here. If your ox is in the ditch every Sunday, that's not an emergency. We're going to have to get a new ox. So it can't be every task you turn in has to come to me. You know, it's okay to miss church on Sunday if it's an emergency, according to the Bible, if your ox is in the ditch. But if your ox is in the ditch every Sunday, that's not an emergency. You need to get you a new ox. And so if you have to come to me every task that we do, you have to come to me to tell you how to fix it. That won't be good. So make sure you understand that, you know, at some point, I'm glad to help you all I can, but at some point, we'll have to cut our losses here. I'm talking about you. If you're not, you know, you've got to make a decision. If you're not catching on, we're going to need to maybe drop you into an internship only and work with you. We don't want to do that. We want you to finish in 3 semesters. But the option is after the first class, if you're really not getting the evidence artifact work, we're not going to continue to be unethical and take your money and keep you moving on through, and then you get to the end and don't get a license. We'll drop you into a clinical only and work with you individually. We don't mind doing that. We don't want to have to do that, but this is the disclaimer up front. I'll be more than glad to work with you in the shell all semester long, but it can't just be an ongoing thing that you're not catching on to what to do. So listen, and when people give you feedback, take that feedback constructively and as it's intended. Not, these people don't like me or any of that. And so it will help you in your work. It'll also help you begin to make that change in lens from teacher to administrator, to be giving people critical feedback on their work. Okay?
No, Heather, it does not have to be, it's not to be a video. The peer review is not a video.
Well, you'll do all of them written, and then later on, we'll have you come online on Zoom and record it, reading your written reviews to one another. Right. And that's so that we know that you can use Zoom. So we won't have you do that every time or forever. That's our key, that you know how to use Zoom.
That's the task 1 and 2 that you'll do together.
Yes.
That one time, the one time for the APSL. That's it.
Yeah. You'll figure, we're only going to do one this time and one next time, just to make sure that you're using Zoom and that you know how to use Zoom for collaboration, because you're going to use it more and more as you move through the program for collaboration. We'll go to 4 case studies in your next block in 603. You'll have 4 case studies. And then when you get to 605, you'll have case studies and you'll have collaborative assignments. where you have to work together. Our goal in 601 is to teach you how to and see that you understand netiquette and those kinds of things. You know, I mean, just very simple things like, you know, don't turn the camera on if you're in the bed with your pajamas on, that kind of stuff. If you're not wearing pants, don't stand up. We had that one. But that's what we're looking for is netiquette, and that you know how to use the technology, because it's going to become more and more integral in the program as you move along. Please remember that we work on the theory of planned abandonment. That we do a lot of support during this semester, and then we pull back as we go and allow you to emerge as a leader. And you'll be using this technology more and more on your own. But that only works if we're sure that you get it this semester.
Dr. Lamb, with some of the messages, it's okay. I saw them. Don't worry. It's okay to ask us questions right now. We would rather you ask them and to be sure than to not ask and then mess up. So it's okay to ask right now.
Oh, the video references is when you get task 1 and 2 done, your peer group's going to get together, your Zoom group, and you're going to video one another reading your peer reviews. That's the video. That's it. And it's right there in the Dropbox. It is in the Dropbox. I love David. David said fear is a driving factor, but he is wearing pants. So he's good with me. One thing that I do want to follow up on Dr. Hamilton's presentation on APA, third person passive is the way we do technical writing. And so if you don't know that one, you really need to maybe get on Purdue OWL. That's generally the only place we have a problem with APA is not understanding how to write third person passive. If you don't, you need to do some research. Moving on this.
Dr. Lamb, just another thing too. If you know what your strengths and weaknesses are, if you know that punctuation and spelling and spacing, that's not your forte, you need to get another set of eyes that you are comfortable with to look at your work before you submit it, because if it's real bad, we're going to send it back to you and tell you to fix it. So if you are not a grammar person, if you're not a punctuation person, if you have problems with spelling or spacing, get somebody else to look at it. You need to fix that as much as possible before it's sent to us.
Yeah. And please remember only send completed work. If there's one task, send one task. If there's 2, send 2. Don't double the process for everybody else involved with it. And be timely. Your feedback's important. Like Dr. Stedman said, don't wait till the last minute. Get your feedback to your colleagues in a timely fashion. All right, so that's kind of the mechanics of how we do peer review. You submit your work in discussion board through the link that says AppSell task for review. That's a direct link into discussion board. You create a thread, upload your work. You go back in, you look at the people, you pick one of them, you download their work. When you have peer reviewed it using the form, you upload the form back in on that same thread and discussion board for feedback for your colleague, and then you upload it where it says completed peer review Dropbox to get a grade from your instructor. Dr. Crawford, I know you're with us. Do you have anything on that? I guess I noticed that you've got some students at that point that are starting to turn in anything that you've seen that you need to remind us of.
No, I think you've covered most of it. Just making sure having somebody proof your work is good. And I would just say, if you think it doesn't sound right, get somebody else to look at it, because it's probably not. Yeah, and that's one of the things that'll jump out at me as I'm looking at them.
Yeah, as you're looking at them, because we don't want the content to. I mean, we don't want the grammar to get in the way of the content. We want the grammar to be assumed that it's going to be correct, so that we can read these things for content. So to make sure that you're doing the right kinds of things. All right, now, once your instructor has cleared your work and said it's good or excellent, then you will come to the assignment drop box and you will put your task in it for your final grade on that task. And you can see there's 5 of them there for the semester. You'll drop them there to get your grade. There is no grade when you upload your task. We give you, when we review these things, we give you the grade that we think that this thing is going to get if it stays in the same form, but that grade converts to this final grade. So don't get all excited if you get a 50 the first time. You can still get 100 on the final one, and that 50 won't hurt you, and it's not about your grade. But we have to kind of project and give you a notion of what we think the state grader would give you. A 50 would translate, they do on a 4-point scale, that would translate to a 2, which is not proficient, and they would return it for revision when you turn your final one in. We'll talk about return for revision in one of the sessions in probably a couple of weeks when we get closer to getting these things completed. We'll talk about the state grading and what happens if something gets sent back. Now, we are trying to do, for those of you who are in elementary school, especially those of you who teach reading, called anticipatory set. We're trying to, one of the reasons why we use a template and had you do consistent things is the state graders know what to expect from Gardner-Webb. They know what it's supposed to look like. We don't hardly ever have anybody's work get returned. It always sails through, and there's a reason why. They know what to expect because we do all the hard work on the front end. We don't send in things that won't pass the Turnitin check because the references aren't done. We don't send things written in first person. We don't send in things that have grammatical errors. And we have your work buttoned down before it's ever turned in. And rarely does anything ever get sent back. But if it does, we have a system to get it fixed immediately. If it gets sent back, the evaluator will tell us what's wrong with it. Now, the evaluator is an anonymous person. They won't help you. They don't come online. They don't do Zoom. Your coach will look at those comments. They'll get them as well, and will lead you through those revisions. Hopefully, we won't have any of those, but hope's not a plan. We have a plan in place. If something does go wrong, we got you covered. We'll get you through. So for those of you who are nervous about that, don't be. We rarely have any of them ever returned, but you get a chance at revision. It's not an all or nothing thing. You do get a chance for revision, and we will make sure that your revision is good on the second time around. Usually it's something on our part where we didn't catch something. But normally we're pretty good. By the time it's gone through 2 or 3 sets of eyes, it usually works pretty good. We don't hardly ever have anything returned. I can't say never. Now, grades. Not everybody's going to get a 4. The world's not fair. My hair should grow back. I should be 100 pounds lighter. Boo-hoo. Everybody's not going to get a 4. I'm going to tell you up front. Our average score on the APSEL runs about 3.8. So that means 4 out of every 5 of you are going to get a 4 if you work really hard. Now, obviously, our scores don't run as high with the bachelor's degree people who are getting their first master's degree. But you folks are the advanced group. You've already got a master's degree. And so we run at about 3.8. But that means that 1 out of 5 of you will not get a 4 on your work. You'll get something less, or you'll get or you'll get a 3.7, or you'll get a 3.8 or something. There'll be a good many 4s. But anything above 3 is good to go. And we'll be happy. Now, it scares me when we start getting below 3.5. That means we're not doing a good enough job working with you. But if you get 3.5 or better, hallelujah, let's move on. They will not let you resubmit if you get above a 3.0. I have people say, well, I'm not happy with that score. I want to redo that. If it's above a 3.0, that's not going to happen. You just have to do better on the next one. So make sure you understand that when we say your work is excellent, that means we believe it'll get at least a 3. And if it doesn't, we'll do what it takes to get you to that 3, because that's on us. We shouldn't let it go on if it doesn't get a 3. That's inter-rater reliability on our part. All right. Any other questions on Blackboard before I switch gears into TaskStream? Let me remind you, your TaskStream accounts will not be made until role is verified and the drop add period is over. That'll be the first of next week. At that point, you will begin to get emails from TaskStream. You say, Dale, why are you covering TaskStream tonight if we can't create our accounts? Because you might be able to create them before I come online with you next Thursday. I don't want you to make a mess out of them before it happens. Sometimes it's easier to fix problems before they happen. So when you get the email to create your account in TaskStream, you'll follow all the steps and put all your information in. And when you do, your screen will look like this. And yours will say, Mel Spring 19 add-on. And it will look like that. There'll just be one on your screen. I have hundreds on mine. Let me get this. Dr. Stedman, can you answer questions?
I have, yes. I think we've answered.
All right, we got it. We're good.
Okay.
All right. So when you click on your DRF portfolio, and we'll call it the DRF as opposed to the competency folio. DRF means direct response folio. When you click on that, you're going to have a screen that's going to have all of your requirements for the entire length that you are in this program. The requirements are right here for TaskStream. While you're in Mail 601, you'll do the AppSell, the AppTel, and upload them for evaluation, competency analysis at the end of the semester, and School of Ed dispositions. You can do School of Ed dispositions as soon as you get in the very first day. And we'd like for you to do them fairly quickly. This is kind of before and after. This is the pretest. Where are you now dispositionally? You don't have to, this is a self-assessment on your part in terms of where you are on learner development, learning differences, learning environments, content knowledge, application of content, assessment, planning for instruction, instructional strategies, professional learning and ethical practice, leadership and collaboration. Those are the things we want you to assess yourself on right now. This is part of the state assessment for principals, so that's why we have you do it, and we have to do it for interns as well. You have to do an assessment of your dispositional behavior. We'll have to do one later.
And it doesn't take long to do that.
No, it takes a minute. And then save and return. And it'll ask you, and then don't forget to submit your work. You simply click on the submit button and submit your work. And so this semester again, AppSell, AppTel, competency analysis, you won't do that until later this semester. We'll tell you when to do that. You can't do that until after you've done AppSell Task 5 and AppTel Task 4. Once you've done those, then you can come and do your competency analysis. It's done basically the last week of the semester. It's kind of a roundup on the things that you're competent on, or that you should be competent on, and you have to self-assess on those at the end of the semester. Next semester, you'll do OMA skip dispositions. 605, you'll do CAP-SCI dispositions again, and then competency analysis. And so the competency analysis is a 4, and after the School of Ed dispositions is a every semester kind of thing. It's for you to make sure that you feel like you're progressing. You'll upload your competency folio here. I'll show you in a minute how to create one of those. And then your internship logs from each semester. Please don't upload one this semester and submit it for evaluation. I'll have to have it sent back for revision. Even though it won't need to be revised, you only submit here when you have all 3. There's a place in your competency folio to get feedback on them from your coach. But these are the things that you will upload for us during the 3 semesters of the program. Now, here's the secret. I'm on the work page. If you see these tabs up here at the top, there's 4 of them. I get students calling me and emailing me all the time. Oh, my stuff's disappeared. And I said, which page are you on? I'm on options, or I'm on comments. This only works from the work page. You can only upload work from the work page. Now, if you get comments back, on your work, if there's anything if you get an email that you've got comments, you come to your comments page. When you submit work and you get a notification that it's been graded, you come to the scores results page, and it will give you the results. You click on it, it'll give you the results of your scores. And they'll be right here. It'll tell you what your score is on the AppSell. It'll tell you what your score is on the AppTel and those things. It will tell you if you've met on analysis and disposition. It will tell you if your competency folio has passed at the end. That won't be submitted until the last semester. But again, you can only submit work in TaskStream from the work screen. So when you set this up, you should come in, do your School of Ed dispositions and submit them, and that way we will know that your TaskStream account is working. That's why we have you do it right away. Sometimes you aren't linked to anybody, it didn't go through. That's how we find out. If we don't get a notification that you've done your dispositions within a couple of days of your account being established, we'll think that your account's not working. So the first thing you do is your School of Ed dispositions in TaskStream. Now, you keep hearing me refer to a competency folio. North Carolina educators and South Carolina educators must demonstrate that that they have achieved competency in the 21 competencies from North Carolina standards. And so when you go to folios and web pages, you will have to create a new folio. I have a video. I believe it's already in your shell on how to do this. Very short and sweet. You click on Create New, and I'm going to name mine New Custom Templates by your learning community, and you'll pick the one that says Competencies for 21st Century Leaders, and then you'll pick your template. My title goes here, and then it's going to look like this. It's just going to say, I could have put Dale's portfolio on it, and this is going to be your portfolio. Now, when you go back to folios and web pages, you won't have to do this but one time. When you go back, guess what? Your portfolio will be there. And you will use it every semester. You will do it every semester. You use the same one every semester. All right, so now when you come in here, what you will see is 21 competencies from communication down to visionary. And you will see digital learning competencies. Let me remind you, you do not have to put anything in there. That's just for your edification. It explains what digital competencies are because you will do them as a part of the first 21. And so when you click on communication, it says you got to have 3 evidences or 3 artifacts. You know, you got to have 3 artifacts here, one from the AppSell, one from the site, one open-ended, and one of them must satisfy the following digital learning competence. So this is where you upload them. Move that out of
the way. And you'll do one each semester. Of all 21.
You'll do one round of each one every semester. So it's going to look like, I was just switched to the student view for you. This is what it's going to look like when you do it. I was on my view. I just switched to the student view. This is what it's going to look like, because students say, well, mine didn't look like yours. Well, I was on instructor view. All right, I'm on student view now. This is what it's going to look like when you open yours up. And you click on communication, it's going to look like this. Again, the same thing. And you will add your artifact here. Now, we've put some documents in your Blackboard shell that tells you what activities or what things will generate and what would be acceptable artifacts to put in here. We're not looking for narrative here. If you say that you had a PLC meeting and you want to give us an example of communication, show us the email that set up and advertised the meeting or got permission from your principal. Take a screenshot of the email. Upload the agenda here. Upload the minutes. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for things, icons, artifacts that were produced as a result of the work that you do. You're going to do your narrative about how you met communication over in competency analysis. That's what analysis is. That's a narrative. Here, you're just going to show us the product that you got. If we can understand this process is really simple and fast, but only if we understand this is for artifacts, it is not for narratives. And so you're going to put all those in here. You're going to put one in for each of these 21. You'll upload your internship log and submit it for comments to your coach, and they'll say, yes, you've got your 80 hours, or no, you've got 80 hours, but 74 of them are bus duties, so that's not acceptable. You know, I've already had a question about, and I'll go over this for the internship log. We have a student who's going on an overnight, or I think it's 3 days and 2 night trip to, what is it, when they go to Washington. The 8th grade goes to Washington now. And he said, could he count all those hours? He said, that'd be his whole internship log for the semester. And I said, no. Supervision for 80 hours of supervision. I figure after about an hour of bus duty or other type of supervision, you either got it or you don't. After that, that's pretty much it. We want to see you doing leadership things and technology things. And so I use the CEU formula. 10 hours equals 1. So if he's doing 80 hours, he gets 8 hours of credit on his log for supervision. We want to see a variety of things that you do. That leadership. Go back to your clinical internship handbook. Again, it's under handbooks in your Blackboard class shell. Go back and look at those things that we expect you to do as an intern. You can also, sometimes you generate artifacts from having done your evidence artifacts. That's why they're called evidence artifacts. When you're writing those evidence narratives, when you do things like have a PLC meeting, you get an agenda, well, that's an artifact that was produced as a result of your clinical work. And so we've outlined for you where you will find artifacts to put in this competency folio. We have to submit this as part of the DRF portfolio because it's evidence artifacts. The narratives are the evidences. The competency folio is the artifacts. That's what goes to the state to get you your license. Without that artifact piece, we can't get you your license. Because guess, as a principal, how you're evaluated? Evidence artifacts. If we go to the state evaluation manual, it says very clearly, you'll produce an evidence for your supervisor, your superintendent, and you'll also, and it gives you appropriate artifacts that you will have generated from the work that you do. So we're trying to teach you in that process, and the state requires us to have that in your portfolio that we submit for your license. So this is what TaskStream looks like. This is the competency folio, not to be confused with the DRF portfolio. Once you have completed your DRF portfolio, you'll simply come down here, click on that, and it will allow you to upload. Once we click here, there we go. It will allow us, and you can see I upload files, to go to attachments, upload an artifact created in TaskStream, and then I pick one, a web folio. I've got a video on this, don't panic. And then I pick the one I want to upload from the spring. I add that file. I save and return, and I submit. And it's just that simple. You'll do that in your last semester once it is completed. It's just that simple. The video is only 2 minutes long telling you how to do that. But that's what you're going to do. So this is how you get your license. It is important. You can't get behind. We won't let you continue on. That's why I said we'll drop you into an internship only if you get behind on your evidence artifact work. Because it doesn't do any good for us to put you through the program and you not have this portfolio done, because we can't get you a license. You already have a master's degree. The whole reason you're here is to get the license. Can't get the license without the portfolio. Just that simple. So again, next week you'll be getting directions on how to set this up. Go into your DRF portfolio, do your School of Ed dispositions, and submit them. That way they'll come through. We'll know that your account is working. Then you will leave this alone for a while and start until you finish your app cell. Then you'll come over here and upload it for a grade, and we'll see how the grading goes. This seems to be an exceptionally bright group. I won't say anything else. So I'm hoping the scores are going to be really good. So that's how TaskStream works. A couple of secrets about TaskStream. Only run it on Chrome. Don't run it on an iPad. It doesn't like Apple of any kind, but it won't work at all with an iPad. So don't email me or call me. It won't upload my work. Well, what are you working on? iPad. Well, duh. It doesn't work with an iPad. So don't do this on an iPad. Don't do it on Microsoft Edge. The new Explorer on Windows 10 or above won't work well with that either. Make sure you're on Chrome. You notice I switched browsers when I went to this. Make sure you're on Chrome when you're using TaskStream. And when you're working in TaskStream, and I do all day, because I've got 1,000 different DRFs, different programs, as soon as you leave, log out. And it will take you back to your login, and then you can switch over to your other browser or wherever you are and work all you want to. And when you want to go back to TaskStream, you simply log back in. So, well, Dale, that's kind of idiotic. Here's the deal. If TaskStream times you out, the penalty, the idiot tax, is it won't let you back in for 6 hours. That's one of the safety features of the program. So if it times you out, if you sit here and leave it open and go to other windows and work, and it times you out, it will not let you in for 6 hours. So don't let it time you out. As soon as you leave, make sure you click on log out. And as long as you leave it like this, you're fine. But I get poor old Seth, who's our TaskStream manager, and I get calls and emails every semester. My TaskStream account is locked. Can you get us back in? No, we just have to wait it out. We can't get you back in until the period is up, the period of default period of safety or whatever, and then 6 hours later it'll let you back in. When people are working against the deadline, they kind of get upset when that happens. So I'm warning you up front. Log out when you're not using it. Log back in when you start using it again. Don't sit and leave it open in a window. And when you get through with it for the day, go ahead and close it. And that's what I do. Then I switch back to my other browser. I do that so that I don't just forget. I have it on another browser so I can open and close it that way. So every day when I come in and log into whether my laptop or my work laptop or my private, I'm on my private laptop, first thing I do is open both browsers so that I won't make the mistake of timing myself out in TaskStream. And I'll be the first to admit that I've done that. So that's why I said that's the idiot tax I was talking about myself. If I do this for a living. If I do that, then it punishes me just the same as it will you. So don't let that happen to you. All right. I think we've covered about all the technology concerns. We've covered the app sell. The coaching session tonight is about, it's not about class content tonight, it's about using the technology, making sure you know all the drop boxes and those things. When I'm with you next Thursday, I'm going to do some evidence artifact content with you. I'm also going to introduce the AppTel when we get there. Hopefully by then you'll be in TaskStream and I'll be able to answer any questions you have about that, fix any problems. Write the name Seth down, SETHOPREA. Seth is the TaskStream person that we pay to handle your problems. You can email me, you can call me. If I can't fix them, I'll turn them over to Seth. Usually I can fix them. But either Seth or I will be able to fix you. Now, access to TaskStream problems will have to be Seth. He has to do that. These accounts cost a good bit of money, and so he's charged with keeping up with the account. So if you have an access to TaskStream problem, you get in touch with him. If you have a how to use TaskStream problem, I'll help you with that. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at our questions. Our time, I see, is getting near. Let me get questions.
Okay, the last one is, all of them's been answered except the last one.
One more, as we're working on task 1, when we discuss our school mission and vision, do you want us to cite the school webpage? Well, if you quote from it, you'll need to cite it. Again, if you don't, you'll get caught when we do turn it in. Everybody understands how turned in check works. We're not so much worried about plagiarism or turning somebody else's work in, but what we are concerned in is you turn in work that you've not cited properly and it looks as if it's your work. That's a big no-no in all the professions in and around education. So if you quote from that web page directly, then you'll need to cite it in your reference page. Be careful about the use of live links in your paper. In terms of, and sometimes students won't explain things. They'll say, just go to this link, and no, you need to tell us what's at that link. You can condense it, but you need to tell us what's there. We shouldn't have to go to links to understand what you've written in your paper. Now, it's okay to have links in your references and when you're citing where you got your work, but don't depend on a link or a web page to pop up and tell us what you should have told us. That's unprofessional. We don't. That's a form of plagiarism again. Links should not be a major part of the body of your paper. Other than this information can be found at. That's fine, but tell us what that information is. You just going in and citing other people's websites, that's a form of plagiarism, and that will turn it in and will get you on that one as well. But if you say, here's what I found from this website and summarize it, that's fine. Just be careful about that. Don't let somebody else do your work, or don't make it appear that somebody else's work is yours. That's the two biggies, and turn it in.
Dr. Lamb, when you get a chance, answer Emily's question. She just put one up there.
Oh, that's from DPI. You just cite DPI. All EOG data comes from DPI. It comes from the assessment section. You can Google that and get that. Doesn't matter if it's released or not. It all comes from one source. It all comes from DPI. So that's an easy one. Yeah, we don't ever want to look like that we have appropriated somebody else's work. That's not the ethical thing to do in our business. You stand on your own work or lack thereof. Yeah, even unpublished data from South Carolina comes from their Department of Public Instruction as well. We want to know where it came from. We don't want it to appear that we've got some secret data, or that the data is ours, or that we've got access to something that's not public information, or we're not sure of the provenance of it. We always want to make sure we credit people for their work or cite data sources. That's a biggie in this business. And when you go on to get your doctorate, and most of you will, they will demonstrate that on you. to the point where they'll take some height off of you every now and then. But when you have to do that literature review, you'll learn at that point how important this is. What's next? Doctors, anybody?
Okay. Oh, I thought you were going to say something profound. What's next? I thought you were going to.
I don't have anything profound.
I think you've covered everything. I think we've covered everything that they need for the night on my end.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Crawford just made a great point. I'm sure your principal would not just make sure the data is not embargoed. If it was embargoed, it probably wouldn't have been shared with you. That's what embargoed means, but he's right. Unless he gave you some secret, super secret view or she of the data, you just cite it from DPI. If it's embargoed data, don't bring it out. They should have said this is not for public consumption. You can't write about this. That's good advice. Thank you, Dr. Crawford. All right, it's kind of like the Waltons. Let me do a roll call here. Dr. Hamilton, you have anything?
Good night, Dale.
Good night. All right, Dr. Shepard.
No, sir. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford.
I'm done. Have a good night.
All right, Dr. Stedman, I'll let you sign off. I thank you for having me.
Okay. And all of this will be recorded and sent to all of you later on tonight. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.